Manage your team from anywhere with Servio Virtual Team. Servio Virtual Team gives you all the tools you need to stay connected. Whether it be your staff, your managers, or customers and suppliers, Servio Virtual Team is your all-in-one app for remote team management. Get unlimited video call minutes, intelligent messaging, documents creation, 200 gigabytes of cloud storage, and more. With Servio Virtual Team, you can set up your organization the way you want to, and support your entire team with our dedicated IT help desk. Empower your team to work better and faster with Servio Virtual Team. Get it now for only $995 per month per team. Visit larkfromservio.com/virtualteam for more info. Manage your team from anywhere with Servio Virtual Team. Servio Virtual Team gives you all the tools you need to stay connected. Whether it be your staff, your managers, or customers and suppliers, Servio Virtual Team is your all-in-one app for remote team management. Get a time and attendance app, request and approval forms, COVID-19 health monitoring, employee surveys and tests, intelligent messaging, multi-user fluid documents, and many more. With Servio Virtual Team, you can set up your organization the way you want to, and support your entire team with our dedicated IT help desk. Empower your team to work better and faster with Servio Virtual Team. Get it now for only $995 per month per team. Visit larkfromservio.com/virtualteam for more info. Manage your team from anywhere with Servio Virtual Team. Servio Virtual Team gives you all the tools you need to stay connected. Whether it be your staff, your managers, or customers and suppliers, Servio Virtual Team is your all-in-one app for remote team management. Get unlimited video call minutes, intelligent messaging, documents creation,
Everyone, we're live. I am Brian Paul Javier, Chief Distribution Officer of Servia Technologies, and I'd like to welcome you to today's webinar entitled Beyond COVID and into 2021, Trends in Digital Transformation. This webinar is presented to you by Servia Technologies in partnership with Lark Technologies. We've had several webinars all throughout the year, and this will be our last webinar for the year. And I know that some, if not most of you, this will also be your last working week of the year. I hope everyone is excited for the holidays, but just a friendly reminder to keep safe and observe all safety precautions. Unfortunately, we are still in the middle of a pandemic. COVID is still here, but I'm sure we can find ways to still celebrate and enjoy the holidays. 9 days na lang. Pasko na! And just a few more days later, 2021 na. I know all of you would agree, this year has passed so quickly and a year that we will never forget. It has affected everyone in different ways, and of course, including businesses. It somehow has highlighted how important technology is in adapting in this new normal. And that's what we want to be able to share to you today. And we are hoping you would learn a thing or two, which could help you going into 2021. We are about to introduce our first speaker in a bit, but I just have a few reminders. We are live on Facebook and in YouTube through the Survey Technologies Facebook and Survey Technologies YouTube channel. So if you are watching this through Facebook or even in YouTube, please share this with your friends so that they too can learn from today's webinar. While we're at it, please also like and follow our pages for future updates. We've also uploaded our previous webinars so you can watch those previous webinars and learn from our past webinars. Side note, Facebook and YouTube live streaming is one of the features of Lark. So we are using now Lark to do our live streaming. So if your business does live streaming, does webinars, you can now use Lark. If you have any questions, you can type your questions in the chat box in Facebook or in YouTube. We'll be able to get to them at the end of this webinar. So you can ask any question you want. We'll get to them at the end of this webinar. We will also be giving out certificates for those who attended today's webinar. So we will be having a survey after this, and after you filled out the survey, we will be sending the certificates. I'll be sharing the survey link at the end of this webinar. Okay, I'm about to introduce the first speaker. Again, if you're watching this in Facebook or in YouTube, please share. Pamasko niya na sa amin. Please share this video. Please share this Facebook. You can never know. Your friends might learn something from this, what we are going to discuss today. Okay, let's introduce our first speaker. Our first speaker is Ivan Chin. He is the Business Development Manager from Lark Technologies, and he will be sharing the future of workspace. Hi, Ivan.
Hi, Brian. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Thank
Welcome.
you. Thank you for having me. So, without further ado, let me start by giving a quick introduction about the future of workspace and also how luck as a best practice can help companies in Philippines achieve digital transformation, right? So like Brian mentioned, today we'll be using our version of Luck Docs as a form of presentation. So we are doing away with PowerPoint slides for today, and we are doing everything for this webinar through Luck. So we are using our Luck Docs, we are using our Luck video conference, we are also using the Luck live streaming where we embedded into the YouTube and Facebook links for you guys to view, right? So let me move on. Right, so good afternoon, everyone. My name, like I mentioned, for today's webinar, we'll be talking about the changing workspace, especially in the Philippines and in APAC as a whole, right? So my name is Ivan. I run the business development efforts for Luck APAC. So a quick introduction about Luck is a cloud-based collaboration platform, and we aim to help customers in the APAC region enhance their internal work transformation progress. Right, and at the same time, we hope to bring joy and efficiency in work collaboration to organizations big and small. Now today, like I mentioned, during these trying times, Luck is especially useful in the form of our features, which later I can bring on about. But firstly, I would like to maybe give a quick introduction about Philippines as a whole, the economic and the demographic trends, right? So yes, these are trying times, but these are also very interesting times for the Philippines. So as you can see in this point, in the first point, uh, Enterprise Singapore, which is one of the Singapore government agency, did a report on the Philippines, and Philippines is on track to become the fourth largest economy by 2030. Right, so think about it. The US, China, and India will probably fight for first, second, and third position. And the next tier will be up to Japan, Indonesia, and Philippines to fight for the fourth largest economy by 2030. Right, and secondly, based on the Philippines Statistics Authority, the young working class in the Philippines, the median age is almost 24.3. So this means that there's a very young working population that will continue till 2030 and beyond. And lastly, CNN did a report on the tech savviness of the population across the world, right? And Philippines, they found out that Philippines in the Philippines, people spend almost 10 hours on the internet on every daily basis. So this means the working population and the population as a whole in Philippines are very tech savvy and internet savvy population. So if you realize, I haven't even started on how this COVID-19 pandemic actually affects how the future of workspace will change, right? Just by these economic trends and demographic trends, there will be a change in how the future of workspace will happen, right, in the years to come. Right, so I move on to the changing workspace. So like I mentioned, with or without the pandemic, there will be a change in the current workspace on how current workspace behaviors change. Right, this COVID-19 pandemic just, I wouldn't say help, but merely help accelerated the progress, the process of this change in the future of workspace. Right, so for the next slide, traditionally we know the workspace, how it works. It's a top-down hierarchy. When the bosses give an order, the employees will have to work in the office. They want to see their employees working very hard in the office, and they want is a more focus on a face-to-face communication, right? But what we are saying is there is a new norm of workspace where there will be more agile teams and reporting lines. Remote working might become the default. So for example, in Singapore, the government has, because of this COVID-19 pandemic, has proclaimed that work from home should be the default method if it is possible for every company in Singapore. Right, so in the third point, you can see backups and redundancies should be centered around business continuity planning. So this is called BCP, short for business continuity planning. So this, later on, I will also give a quick talk about this BCP planning, which is really part of the new norm workspace, right? And lastly, there will be a less focus on face-to-face, but rather through video conference and video meetings, right? Right, so the next point I want to talk briefly about the BCP, a business continuity planning for any organization, big or small, right? So you can see there's a guide provided by our Singapore government on how every company should adopt a BCP in times of pandemic. So this not only relates to the COVID-19 pandemic, but this also works, this BCP guide actually also works for any other disasters, maybe some natural disasters, where face-to-face communication among employees and customers is not possible. There should always be a BCP guide, right? So if you are interested, later on we will share these slides where you can access this guide to help for your BCP planning on this company, right? So you can see these 4 points basically makes up of all good BCP guides. So first is human resource management. Second is process and business functions. Third is where you have to have constant communication with your supplier and customers alike, right? And lastly, I think where I highlighted is communications should always be key, right? So I want to emphasize on this communications part because this is really part of the future workspace and what luck can bring about, which later I will bring, I will go into more details with. So next up, I will give a quick run through of the how to create the workspace of tomorrow, right? So basically it's divided into 4 points. So firstly, we will advise business owners to really reconstruct or think about how to reconstruct how work is done, right? So we would recommend a business owner or an employer to start to identify which part of their business can be done remotely, digitally, or really through video meetings. Right. This new process may include a period of brainstorming, and this involves like digital channels and embracing digital channels, digital change via instant messaging chats, collaborative platforms, and then conducting surveys, remote surveys through this platform, or even doing video conferencing, right? And maybe there needs to be a brainstorm. Maybe the video conferencing is the way to go, not only with internal employees, but also maybe video conferencing, video meetings might be the way to close business deals in the near future, right? And all these can actually be done on LUC. Now, for the second point, we also recommend business owners to really think about this point, right? Whether it's people coming to work or bringing the work to people. Now, what does this mean, right? So, like I mentioned, because of this COVID-19 pandemic, a lot of companies start to adopt work from home as their default business working model, right? So again, this requires a real change in mindset from a business owner or employer's point of view in order to adapt this fully remote working model or a hybrid remote working model, and the rest, if it's on-site necessary or not, all these have to be really part of the thinking of the business owner, right? So whether it's a fully remote working model or hybrid remote working model that the business owner wants to adopt, you will need, again, a proper digital channel or collaboration tool in place before you split your teams into such a working model, right? So you have to have a collaboration model, a communication model in place before you can embrace the fully remote or hybrid remote kind of working model for your employees. And again, this is where LUC comes in. Now, the third point I want to say is we recommend a business owner to also redesign the workplace to support organizational priorities, right? So what does this mean? So again, you can see the source below that we actually had a recommendation again from the Singapore government. So the Ministry of Manpower actually gave a guide on how for business owners to really embrace this work from home concept, right? So again, this guide, if you're interested, we can send you later, is really to help a business owner to prepare a company's change to a remote working concept. Now, it also states some key advantages such as the potential cost savings in rental space and even talent attraction. So what do I mean by talent attraction, right? So if you think about it, the new working demographics are a new young working crowd in the Philippines. So this young working adults, maybe they choose in their new work opportunities, maybe they value freedom of work, they value convenience of work, right? So these are really talented people, but they want to maybe live in their cities of choice, or maybe live in a city where there's a lower cost of living and close to people they love, right? But they will still they want to work for a large organization or very successful organization. So to embrace such a change, a remote working concept, maybe you are able to attract such talented people who really want the freedom of work, right? So when you have a remote working concept, maybe a monthly trip to the office or an on-site meeting with colleagues will suffice, while the rest of their business or job scope will be through remote working. And lastly, the last point that I want to bring up for any future of workspace, a successful future of workspace, is really, again, back to communication. So communication is always key, top down from leader to the employees, and also bottoms up from employee to the leaders, right? So this point really speaks for itself that communication is key, and this is why companies really need a strong collaboration tool or a communication tool before they start embracing the remote working kind of model. And really, this brings me to my point of introducing LUC to the audience in this webinar, right? So what is LUC and where is LUC? So for LUC, we are actually founded in 2017, We are headquartered in Singapore, and right now we have 9 R&D centers globally. And on any given day, we actually have 1,700 employees, including engineers working on our product. Right. So how did this idea of luck come about? So for luck, we actually evolved from our internal collaboration suite that we built and we used internally. So this was used by ByteDance, our parent company, and also TikTok, our sister company, all 50,000 employees of them. We were using it for the last 3 years. We realized the potential and we are here to push it publicly and to the Philippines market. Right. So I'll talk about our vision when we created Luck. Right? So essentially back to my earlier point on the future of workspace and how digital transformation will help a business go with the successful economic flow of the Philippines to become the fourth biggest economy by 2030, right? So Luck's direction was to create an all-in-one collaboration tool and to help companies achieve digital transformation at the same time, right? So essentially, what is Luck and what do we provide, right? So, like I mentioned, Luck is an all-in-one collaboration tool for any organizations, big or small. And in a nutshell, I think this point really highlights all our features essentially in our super app. So what we are aiming at is Luck is an instant messaging tool with all these features embedded inside our platform. So you will enjoy a cloud storage in our Luck Drive. We also have our calendar. We have our own version of Docs, which you are looking at right now. We are also using our video conferencing, which is part of this webinar. And also we have our open platform and our email, Luck email system, right? Everything is included in one super app called Luck, right? So other than the features that I mentioned above, Luck actually also helps to digitalize workflows in any organization, right? So we have chatbots, we have workflow approvals, we have QR apps embedded inside our Luck platform. Later on, I will give you a walkthrough on all these features. Right, so essentially Luck can be used on Windows and iOS operating system and Mac OS operating system, as well as we as Luck, we are also a mobile first solution. We can also be used on the Android and iOS platform. Right, so in a nutshell, we are both desktop and mobile friendly. So moving on, I will discuss or rather I will give you a walkthrough on all our different features, right? So what Luck is useful for is really connecting your team members. So essentially, if you look at the animation, like I mentioned, we have a chat platform. We also have our online doc platforms that links back eventually to our instant messaging chat, right? So over here in the animation, you can see these are the online docs that I'm currently using. It is a very interactive platform, and you can also do virtual engagement with it. So what do we mean by virtual engagement, right? So while we are having this video conference, anyone in the participant can actually share and edit on the same document that I'm sharing right now. So this becomes a virtual and a live engagement where, let's say, you can discuss on a sales meeting or a discussion with your administrative team on processes while you are editing on the live document together with the team on a video conference. And next, we have a feature which can digitalize workflow approvals as well. So what does this mean, correct? So it's internally, ByteDance, we actually have used Luck for our leave approval, for our reimbursement approval and expense approval. Imagine all these approvals traditionally used to be in black and white pen and paper, where you have to write down your reimbursement, stapler your receipts, and then submit to the finance. But during this COVID-19 period where the default is like remote working, work from home, each time you need to have a leave approval, reimbursement approval, it won't be realistic for someone to hand it pen and paper to the finance team, right? So for Luck, internally we have a workflow approvals which you can easily set up to really digitalize such process. So imagine for me, I submit a reimbursement approval. I just need to use my handphone to take a photo of the receipt. I submit for approval, and let's say Brian, who is my supervisor, he will receive a notification in the chat platform through Luck, and immediately he will be able to view my submission, and he can choose to approve or reject straight from the Luck platform itself. So imagine this works for reimbursement, this works for leave, expense approvals, and this really also can become part of the digital transformation process for any company. And next up, we also have out-of-the-box templates within Luck. So internally, we call it the Luck surveys, where it really is that easy to set up like questionnaires, online polls, or even if you have a online webinar or a physical webinar, to create forms and questionnaires, right, for anyone in using Luck. So imagine again, all your employees maybe are remotely working, and you want to do a quick survey or a poll, right? You, in the traditional way, will probably have to send them an email and then conduct the results, or maybe a Google form. But for us, once your team members are on Luck, you can easily set up this Luck questionnaire through our Luck survey, and immediately you can get the results and log the results within the Luck platform again. And the final feature that I want to discuss is the OKR. So OKR is short for Objective Key Results. So OKR is really a methodology that is not that is very similar to KPI, but rather it is a tool, a methodology that is used to align objective goals within the companies. So this is really, OKR is really a methodology used by big companies such as Google, Amazon, LinkedIn, right, to align from the CEO's direction to the lowest employee, that ensures that all their goals are really aligned to the organizational goals. And at the end of maybe every quarter, we will track the results of these objectives, whether it's really aligned. So this is really a methodology used by big companies to ensure that their objectives are always aligned among all employees to the top management's objectives. And again, this OKR tool is actually available on Luck already, right? So lastly, I want to mention about our security as well. So for Luck, we are a cloud SaaS, software as a service platform. But rest assured, we are completely hosted within AWS infrastructure, and we go by the highest standards. So as you can see from this graphic, we are ISO, we have achieved the ISO standards, and we are also SOC 2 and SOC 3 compliant. So these are really the gold standards for any cloud platform in terms of data security and cloud security, right? And so if you remember, I mentioned that Luck was actually used by our parent company, all 50,000 of them. We realized the potential, and we actually did a report on how much cost savings and time savings it actually helped us, right? So as you can see in the first diagram, it actually helped to lower our communication costs. So the traditional way, of course, was face-to-face meeting, but we actually helped to cut short the communication costs in terms of meeting a customer as well as holding an interview with a candidate, right? So in terms of time savings, it is that. Then we also managed to have a lower turnover rate. I think with Luck platform, with our video conferencing feature, I think it helps to have better engagements and constant communication. So we actually have lower turnover rate on a year-by-year basis. And last and most interestingly, I think it also helped to increase our sales revenue. I think really hugely due to the fact that we help cut short a lot of processes, get let's say the approvals more quickly done by digitalizing our process, right? And finally, I just want to talk about our customers that have really embraced Luck. So we have a lot of customers ranging from startups to large organizations. And I guess in the bottom right is where our more prominent Philippine companies are at. So you can see PisoPay, one of online remittance startup, is already using Luck. And then you can also see at the bottom, Mineski Global, one of the largest esports companies, is already embracing Luck using our digital workflows. Right? So with this, I hope you have enjoyed my presentation and you have learned a bit not only about the future of workspace, but really what Luck is all about. Right. So thank you for your time. I'll leave it to Brian to continue.
Thank you, Ivan. Thank you for sharing that presentation. And as your supervisor, I'm just kidding. It was a really good. It was a really good presentation. what I really learn about what you just presented is even the workspace has been affected by this pandemic. Something very physical before this pandemic, also needs to transition to be able to adapt to this new normal and needs to move to the virtual. And Lark is a perfect tool, a perfect platform to be able to help with that transition. So thank you,
Exactly,
Ivan. Thank you
exactly. Thank
for
you.
sharing with us your presentation. Okay, up next for this webinar, for us to be able to better appreciate on what Lark can do in terms of communication and collaboration. Let us welcome Ton Ancheta, my fellow co-founder and Chief Services Officer of Servio Technologies. Welcome, Ton.
Thank you very much, Brian, for the introduction, and also thank you for Ivan for that cute presentation. Um, so, what I'd like to be doing today is we're going to do a bit of a demo slash role play for so you should be able to get a practical, I guess, a view of how we actually use Lark. Just a bit of a background. I do have an assistant, just like any magician. I have an assistant who will be assisting me in this recreation, as it were. But before I get into that, we're going to be doing, like I said, a demo slash role play of this particular um, presentation. It's almost like if you've watched Deadpool already, I will be often breaking the fourth wall to talk to you and explain to you what exactly we're doing. Just one more thing before we get into it. Um, we've actually, as of July, 1st of July, 2000, 2020, this year, we've actually made the painful decision, decision to let go of our office. So as of July 1st this year, Servio does not have a physical office. It was an office that we loved. We've been there for 11 years, and but because of the pandemic and the new normal, we've actually let it go. So we don't have a physical office. Every single one of us are now working remotely, and without the help of Lark, um, we wouldn't have been able to sustain our productivity and our throughput. Now, what I'd like to be able to present and demo for you today is an actual document that we were preparing. So this is actually a real document, except for my name and my colleague, I will be introducing to you in a minute. In a minute, all the other names in the documents have been changed to protect the innocent. Okay, so in order to put together this document, I need to collaborate with somebody. Now, traditionally, the way we would do this is I would come up with the outline, I'd create the template, I'd send it to that colleague of mine and via email, and she would do her bit, send it back to me. I would look at it, review it, maybe revise it, send it back to her to finalize. So there's lots of asynchronous iteration, meaning back and forth, and it would have taken at least 2 days before we come up with a version of this document ready for presentation. But now I will show you that something like this can actually literally happen in minutes. So the colleague in question is going to be Sasa Benitez, and right now she's not in this meeting, and I'm going to actually check her calendar on Lark to see if she's available. Before I do that, I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to share my entire desktop, and what you're looking right now is my Lark app, and I am going to look at calendar, and I am going to, so it's loading right now. Let me put this away down here. All right, the calendar's loaded. And what you're seeing is my schedule. But I would like to be able to see Sasha to see if she is available for this meeting. So I type Sasha on the search, click that, and you will notice that Sasha is supposed to be in this meeting, so she should be available, and it's just a matter of giving her a call. All right. Because she's already in this meeting, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just include her in this meeting so we can all collaborate. Just raise this again um, and search for her name here, and I'm just gonna dial her in. Even if she's busy, because I'm her boss, she's going to answer. So let's see if she is respectful enough to do so. Sasa right now. Are you there, Sasa?
Hey everyone.
All right, there's the lovely Sasa. Don't be fooled by her looks. She's actually an
Right
adult
now,
and
are
not a
you there,
15-year-old
Sasa?
girl. I'm hearing an echo, by the way.
So sorry for
Everyone.
that.
I think you got the
There,
other event.
there.
All right, okay. All right, Sasa. Sasa is pretending to be a newbie, although like me, she's been using Lark for a while. But for the purposes of being able to present this to you, she's going to pretend like she's not quite familiar with this particular tool. Now, Sasa, you and I have just met with Tony Stark yesterday, right?
Yes,
And
yes.
he has this brilliant idea of starting to sell furnitures online, and he would like to have his own e-commerce website to sell furnitures, right? And we met with him, and this document that I prepared that you should now be able to see actually
Mhm.
indicates what we've been discussing, and we need to complete this document in order to send back to him so that he can approve whatever we put in here, and so that the project can actually go on its merry way. All right. So to fill this in, we need to be able to put in the basically the peg of the website that he wants us to use, right? I think based on our discussion, he wants clean lines, he wants utilitarian, he wants light, the website that is light in color. So what we're gonna do, and if you can see right now, and by the way, this is a Lark doc, and what Sasha is doing right now, she's typing. I'm not doing. See my hands. I'm not doing anything. She's actually typing, and I'm able to see what she's doing right here. Now, Sasha, you have the image that Tony Stark has actually selected, and what we need to do is we need to paste it here so that he knows we are all aligned in terms of understanding of how we're going to approach this project, right? Uh, Now, all you need to do to be able to paste that image here is simply copy that image that you probably have separately on another application open on your app on your computer, and just right click or just control V and just paste it, right? So why don't you go ahead and do that now? Should be simple. Child's play. All right.
There. Should reflect right now.
And there you go. Yep. The image is, I can see it. So the change was almost instantaneous. And if you've been using computers for a while, copying and pasting should be as simple as this. And you can also we can also zoom in if you click it, and you'll be able to see a bigger picture, bigger size photo, so you can anybody reading this document will be able to scrutinize the contents. All right. Now that we put the image here, I know that Tony also has ideas about how the flow of the website should look like, right? Because he's, I think, seen a video of
Yes.
examples of the best websites. Do you know how to paste it, a video in here? Now, typically,
That's one
in
thing I'm
other
not yet familiar with.
right now, typically, what you would need to do if this was a Microsoft Word document, you just click or you just paste the YouTube link into here, and anybody consuming or reading that document will have to click that link, and it will open a separate browser window to show that video, right? Now here, all you need to do, Sasha, if you can see my screen, is just hover your mouse onto the plus sign here, and we scroll down until we can see um, what are we doing? That would be the insert, right? Uh, where is it here? There should be a way to insert.
Yeah, I can see it in my document. So when I click plus, I'm able to see an
Okay.
option to add a YouTube video. So if it's
All
the
right.
one I'm
Yeah, I think
supposed to use.
that is the difference between my Macintosh version and the Windows version. I'm using a Mac, and you're using a Windows. So go ahead. In your version, you should be able to see insert YouTube video, and just insert the video.
All right. So pasting the web link and confirming. And there.
All right, I'm seeing it loaded right now. Now, the difference between embedding a video in Lark Docs versus all the other popular tools out there is you can actually play. I can actually click this and play the video directly from within the Lark dock. So it's playing right now. So I did not even need to leave. It did not need to open a separate browser just to play the video. So this is excellent work, Sasa. So this is now what we're going to be using as a guideline for the website we're going to be putting together. Okay, and he's discussed with us how the web how what the menu items are going to be for the web page. So I think we also have a PDF file that we want to be able to present here, which will contain content on what he actually wants us to post in the website, right?
Yes, yeah. So I'll be uploading a PDF file.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the way to do that is basically the same way you've shown earlier. So it's insert, except that now I'm just going to add via local file.
Right. So I will show that here. You click insert and you click local file. And then at that point, it should prompt you to locate that file on your local drive and paste it right in here.
Pasting and done.
So this is a PDF file. So if I click this, it should open right on my screen as well. It did not open a separate tab, did not open a separate application. So it is actually able to show me the PDF file directly. As a matter of fact, I didn't even need to click it. I can simply scroll it here on the Lark dock itself, and I will be able to see it. So this is really impressive. And there you go, Tony Stark. What a lucky SOB. Okay. All right. So we're clear with the domain name. Is this exactly the approved domain name he wants us to use?
Yes, this is the final one.
Okay. And we're now down to the home stretch. We need to be able to commit to him the timeline of when we'll be able to complete, a high level timeline of when we'll be able to complete the project. Now I gave you that assignment to put something together. Can you share that here?
Mhm.
Now what you used is, if I'm not mistaken, a Lark sheet, right? Right. So to what we're gonna do is to be able to enter a Lark sheet. You just click the plus, and we will say um, sheet over here, and then you should be able to just paste in your worksheet over here, and you and I can start editing it together, right?
All right. So trying to paste it now. Let's see if it'll appear. There you go.
Okay. So according to this, it'll actually take us 12 months to create this, or actually 5 months to deploy this particular project, and maintenance to happen from the 6 month onwards. There seems to be something missing here, though. So what I'm going to do here, Sasa, is I'm going to add. This is your Lark sheet, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add. I'm going to insert a row. I'm going to right click here, and I'm going to insert a row above, because I think we miss a particular step here, and I'm going to type it in and say test, and then let's see. I think the test should happen on the 5th month. I'll change the color to make that a bit different. We'll use this one, and I will move this one by doing a control and paste, copy and paste over there. So it moved, and we will delete. We will just delete here. So that means, let me just clear that over here. Okay, so that means we will actually not complete this project in 5 months, but actually 6 months, to give us 1 month time to just test it. You know how demanding Tony Stark is, right?
Yeah.
So
All
we need to
right.
make sure
I agree
that
with
we
that.
test it. All right. And I think we have just one more thing that we need to do to put the wrapping around this document that we're going to be submitting to Tony, and that is, and we can use this as an evolving, we can make this document an evolving document and start just updating it as is in place to give Tony visibility on where we are, in fact, in the project. And what I'm going to do, and I'll do this for you, and we can together fill this up, is I'm going to insert a Kanban image here. So just like any document, Sasha, You can insert just like with anything, any element you want to include in a Lark doc, be it a table, be it a Lark sheet, maybe it another Lark doc or a YouTube video. Inserting a Kanban is as simple as just clicking here, and it'll start putting it in there, right? So you and I, Sasa, on a periodic basis, can fill this up interactively and just tell Tony, just check the same document. And as we update it, you'll always see a live and real time view of what we're doing. So I know that we've already done requirements. Let me just do this requirements gathering. I know we've already completed this. Um, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag this over here because, actually, we've done this. So we'll put that in completed. What else do we need to do?
Okay,
What else is in progress
I'm
right now?
adding a task for designing a mock-up.
Okay.
All right, yeah, so that's
And
one thing
that's
we haven't
currently in progress,
started.
right? Yep.
Yes, yeah, we're about to start that one, so I guess we can place that as in progress.
Yep. And finally, I'm going to add a task for myself called set weekly meetings with Tony Stark. And that one I will keep right here because I haven't actually done that yet. So when I'm done with that, I will drag that in the completed. So as we go along, Sasa, you and I will just populate, fill in the all the tasks that needs to be done under not started, and we will be able to track from the same document what we need to do in order to make sure that we're on track for the project, right?
All right, so all throughout the entire project, we can actually just refer to this one.
Exactly. That is the point. All right. So what do you think about Lark, Sasa?
Yeah, so it's very easy and very, I guess, user friendly. So it's very easy to just add, drag, and drop as needed. So
Exactly.
I guess
And
we can now try next steps.
yeah, sure. Go ahead. And this is the last step. So we need to. There are still some details that need to be done. Tony told us he will give us the. He will give us the details by tomorrow. So I'm actually going to be able to insert a. Well, no, not tomorrow, but Friday. He said Friday. So let me scroll down and set Friday as the date, and he didn't specify a time, so I'll uncheck the time. And so now we can see that it's actually going to be um, done by Friday. And then here, Servio needs to purchase the domain starkfurniture.com. So I'm going to assign that to you, Sasa. I'm going to
All
just
right.
type in your name over here. Oh, there you are. Um, and when do you think you can get it done? By why don't you insert your the due date, your commitment of when you think you can get this done?
Completed right before the Christmas break. So probably on the 23rd.
All right, excellent, very good. And that's it. And it only took us well, what time is it? Well, yeah. So we started at 4:25. It only took us 19 minutes to complete this document, right? And as I was saying to everyone who's listening right now, ordinarily this would have taken us 2 days. So to everyone else, I hope this has been enlightening to you. Thank you, Sasa, for helping me out in putting together this document, and I'm sure Tony will be very impressed with what we have. And that's it for me. Back to you, Brian.
Thank you, Ton. Thank you, Sasa, for that unique demo. I'm sure Tony would be happy, and I'm hoping his furniture business would be a success. Okay, so again, we're we're now going to the question and answer. So if you are tuning in right now, and if you have some questions on what Ivan talked about or what Ton and Sasa talked about, feel free to use the chat box. We have people looking at that. Okay, while we're waiting for some questions, I have a question here for Ivan. Now, usual question that we get is they think that the changes that we're having now,
Mhm.
because of the COVID, especially with the workspace, is something temporary. And they're saying that once the vaccine has been fully implemented and a lot of people are start getting the vaccine, we will start going back to the physical offices. So they're saying this is something temporary, so they're not thinking of implementing a change that could be permanent.
Mm.
So, what do you say about that? Do you think what we're having now is something temporary? The workspace would be going back to how it used to be and not this virtual workspace that we're having?
Got it, got it. So thanks for the question. So like everyone, I hope there will be a vaccine and even a cure soon for this COVID-19 pandemic, right? But there really is no saying, and touch wood, if there's a next pandemic or a next kind of disaster that affects globally or affects Philippines as a whole. But I think this brings me back to my earlier slides, which I mentioned just based on the demographic trends alone, just based on how Philippines will become one of the fifth or fourth largest economy by 2030, there will be changes in the future workspace, and there will be changes on how young adults with their mindset will probably start working maybe through their mobile more often, and this digital transformation process cannot be ignored. And I think this COVID-19 pandemic just helped to accelerate this process. And who's to say there's more pandemics to come? We must be ready, and which is also why I mentioned about the BCP that all companies should adopt, and they should quickly adopt such a digital transformation tool like LUC as well. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Ivan. Okay, do we have any questions? Okay, we have a question here for Ton as the Lark guru. Ton, I know you've been in the industry for quite some time already.
Thank you for not telling the number, giving a number of years. But okay,
And we've been using Lark for a few months now.
a year
If
actually,
you
more
are
than a
going
year.
to a
Yeah,
year,
yeah,
yeah, a year.
yeah.
If you're going to compare Lark with some of the tools that you've used before, how do you think Lark is better, or what do you like about Lark that made like what you said, we shifted to a virtual setup in Servio. What do you think is unique about Lark that made our transition from physical to virtual easy?
Well, the other popular tools in the market right now. They claim that they're also collaborative, or they provide features that will allow collaboration. But as I've demonstrated, I mean, these popular tools I just mentioned, and I won't mention any names to protect the innocent. Um, they the people in our audience right now, I'm sure they know how to use these tools, right? The word processing tool, the spreadsheet tool that they're using. But I'm sure, based on how I've just presented, they've never seen those tools work the way me and Sasha have actually worked on it, on a particular document together. These other tools don't lend themselves to that kind of collaboration easily. Um, and not only did so move when we moved to Lark, it's not just about the fact that Lark has all these features for collaboration. It also actually changed the way we work and we meet. And I won't get into it right now, but there is, for those people who are interested, if you look at if you want to search on this thing called same page meeting methodology, that's what we're doing right now. And that methodology, that ability to meet and be able to discuss all the things that need to be discussed in maybe 30 minutes, what might or traditionally take an hour, 30 minutes. That methodology that we're now using is only available primarily because we're now using Lark. So it's a different way of meeting. It's a different way of having to prepare for it. Again, I'll say this. Traditionally, if you're the one hosting the meeting, you're doing all the preparation for that meeting. You come to the meeting, and then the ideas that you'll be presenting to the audience or to the participants of that meeting, that's the first time they'll be looking at it. And then there's going to be some freewheeling discussion. It takes time, but same page allows us to collaborate on what will be discussed even before the meeting. So when we actually come together for the meeting, it's just question and answer and just alignment. So, you know, the fact that Alark allows us to do this is the one big difference between this one and all the other popular tools out there.
Ton, Thank you for sharing us that insight. Okay, we're about to wrap up this webinar, but before we wrap up, for those who have attended, we'll be having a survey so that you can get a certificate of attendance. I'll be sharing my screen right now. So this is the survey link. So you can fill out the survey at flexiquiz.com/sc/n/phbeyondcovid. For those watching in YouTube and in Facebook, we will be pasting the link in the chat boxes below. So again, for you to be able to get a certificate, please fill out the survey www.flexiquiz.com/sc/n/phbeyondcovid. One thing I think that's also unique about Lark is free. So for those who are interested and those who would like to try out Lark, you can sign up and download Lark for free. And if you need help, if you have any questions, you can also visit our website www.larkfromservio.com so that we can reach out to you, or you can message us through our Servio Technologies Facebook page, so we'll be able to reach out to you. Okay, so for everyone, thank you again for joining us. Thank you, Ivan, for sharing your presentation. Thank you, Ton and
Thank you.
Sasa, for the role play. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. We hope that you were able to learn a thing or two from what we presented today. And again, if you have any questions, you can reach out to us through our Servio Technologies Facebook page. You can also visit our website, www.larkfromservio.com. That concludes our webinar today. I hope everyone would keep safe. Again, COVID is still here, and I hope everyone would enjoy rest of the week and advance Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, and take care. Bye.